content. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Counting like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Yes, I'ma get that bass the way she said it. Don't smoke in my face and I'ma let it stay the way it is. Hey now, I'm on my way, I'm circling around her, she look like she wanna. I'm on my way, tell me what you thought of. When you say that you need it, show that you want me, yeah. I'm circling around her, eating me alive, yeah. You want me to love you. When you say that you need it, show that you want me, yeah. Circling around and eating me alive, yeah. You want me to love you. When you say that you need it.
What is up, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing tonight? Let me fix the camera a little bit. Alright, how we doing, guys? How we doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Come one, come two. There's two of y'all, so anyways, welcome to the very first don't mind the mess back here. Well, actually, I won't put this back up now. So welcome to the first ever Miami Dolphins Syndicate podcast, MDS Live. Thank y'all for joining in. You guys kind of over the draft weekend when I was live for all 3 days, you guys were amazing. Showed a lot of love, and a few of you even said you wanted me to go live regularly. So we go on live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Unfortunately tonight Jacob won't be able to join me, but normally he will be able to join me, so he will be with us on a regular basis from now on. Ooh, we got some breaking news. Not necessarily Dolphins, but the Chiefs are signing the Bucks former left tackle Donovan Smith to a 1-year deal worth up to $9 million. Why can't we do that? What's up, Hank? Welcome in, bro. So just to let y'all know, because my internet is so absolutely garbage, there's like a 20-second delay between when your comments pop up and when you'll be able to see me answer them. Yeah, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We will deal with it for now. But yeah, so today we going to talk about a few different things. We're only going to have an hour show, so from 7 to 8. I do have another UDFA video going live at 8 o'clock tonight, so make sure y'all watch that. But going over a few things today. One of them is going to be the Dolphins roster, like where it stands. What do I think, is going to happen with it? I know Jacob already put out a video showing like his predictions for the depth chart as of right now. It's a way too early prediction. I'm going to kind of go over the roster myself from the Dolphins website. So those UDFAs that are officially signed, there's some that aren't. In fact, I had one of my favorite UDFA signings that didn't actually sign. He ended up going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll tell you about him now because I might as well, because I had to delete that video. But his name was Leonard Taylor. He was the tight end from Cincinnati, but he was the second tight end because the first tight end was Josh Wiley, and he went, I believe, 167. So he went middle of the draft. But both of those guys are like really good elite tight ends, college tight ends wise, and they were in a scheme that didn't use the tight ends. So if you looked at like their scouting reports, every single scouting report was like good blocker, great hands, good route runner. The only thing is his lack of production, and it's like, well, why is that? And then their projections for their careers are both at least number 2 tight ends, and I'm like, well, if a UDFA is projected to be at least a number 2 tight end in this league, then he's probably pretty damn good, and could probably be a tight end 1 on this league, on this team. Because as we all know, the Dolphins kind of struggling at tight end right now. But before we get into all that, I do want to play a little game with y'all. It's called Weddle. And it is more of like a fantasy football game, but, I like it, so we playing it. Boom. All right. So basically, you put in a fantasy football player. So this is the easy mode. So it's any skill position or quarterback. So we go ahead and put Tua just because we want to. All right, so he's not in the AFC East. He is only 6'1", and he wears a low number, similar to number 1, but he does not play QB. So it's probably a running back. It says in the AFC. Can y'all think of any AFC running backs that are not in the AFC East? So we go AFC West. How about Jerick McKinnon? He just got re-signed. How do you spell McKinnon? I guess that's not it. What about Clyde Edwards-Helaire? It's not in the AFC West either. Not a running back, so it's a receiver. Receiver. Good job, one. Hamler. Oh, Jerry Jeudy. So it's a wide receiver. He's 6'1". What you guys think? He's a wide receiver in the AFC. He's not in the East, not in the West, so he's either in the North or South. OBJ. Okay, so he's in the North. He's a wide receiver. Amari Cooper. Hey, let's go. I love my dude. Amari Cooper. He's the shit. All right. So back to Dolphin stuff, since this is actually why we're really here. So I'm gonna show y'all the depth chart now, or not the depth chart, the roster, and I'm kind of just gonna go player by player real quick and be like, okay, I think this guy's gonna make the team. I don't think this guy's gonna make the team. I think he's gonna be practice squad. I think he's a camp body, you know, etc., etc. So without further ado, all right. Oh, I'm gonna have to shrink you down a little bit. There we go. All right. All right. So we have Justin Bethel. I think he's gonna make the team. He has really good special teams. Plus, he can play hybrid between safety and corner. So he's probably gonna make the team. Tino Ellis was on practice squad last year. I think that's exactly where he's gonna be again. Obviously, Xavier Howard's gonna be starter. Noah Igbenogany, my dude. We're gonna have a conversation about him here in a little bit. A lot of you guys call me crazy for calling him a CB3. So he's gonna make the team. He's gonna, as of right now, before I watch Cam Smith actually play in a Dolphins uniform, Noah Igbenogany is 5. Because I haven't seen Trill Will come off his injury yet. Given I haven't seen Nick Needham do the same thing, he's right down here. But Nick Needham is gonna be CB4, but if he plays as well as he did when he was healthy, he'll jump back up into CB3 on the team. Hello, when you get a chance, watch the film on James Tunstall, left tackle from Cincinnati, and Eric Bujan, left tackle from Wyoming. Both will play left guard or right tackle potential. James played good versus Will Anderson in the 2020 Cotton Bowl. Okay, I got you. You know what? We can watch that film right after I'm done with this, going over our roster currently. I'll go and turn on Tunstall. I saw that we signed him, and I made a UDFA video that's gonna be coming out Thursday for him. I know a lot of people made the joke about him being a turnstile. Yeah. Turnstile, you get the joke. But yeah, Igbo, as of right now, before I watch anybody else play, he's CB5. Cater CB3. I think if Nick Needham is obviously comes back from his Achilles injury the same way, if not better than what he was before, then I think he jumps Cater Kohu. He just has, you know, better size. Yeah. And he was one of the top slot corners in the league 2 years ago. He didn't get to play slot corner last year because of Byron's injury, and then he got injured, so it kind of just sucks for him. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey. Cam Smith's obviously making the team. I have him as between CB6 and CB7, right along with Trill Will. Elijah Campbell, he's listed as a DB because he could play, once again, safety or corner. He was on the team last year, but with the addition of Cam Smith, who can also play safety. Let's go! What's up, TD? What's up, bro? Welcome in, dude. Welcome in. Yo, it was a great night, that day 2 night when we were able to talk together. That was hilarious. You and Sarni going at it. Yeah, Elijah Campbell, I think he's gonna be like a fringe roster cut, but I'm not sure whether he makes it or not, to be quite honest. I think he's going to be one of the last guys cut, just because, once again, the addition of Cam Smith, I think he gets the axe. Keon Crossan, he's gone. Because you guys got to remember, Byron Jones wasn't on roster at all last year, because he was on he was on the PUP list the entire year, so we had that extra roster spot. So that extra roster spot went to Cater. So all these other CBs that were like, you know, fringe. I mean, we now have Jalen Ramsey on the roster, so that's like Jalen Ramsey and Cam Smith add 2 CBs to the roster that we didn't have last year. You know what I'm talking about? So I think Elijah Campbell and Keon Crossan are the ones that get the axe, unfortunately, from that. Ogba, it's going to be one last year with him before he's gone. This is going to be his last year. He is signed for another 2 years, but he has nothing guaranteed after this year. So I think we ride with him this year, and then next year he's gone. Josiah Bronson. This actually, someone just mentioned him, didn't they? I believe he was UDFA. Oh, nice too. Okay, never mind. I'm stupid. We'll forget that. Josiah Bronson. I don't know enough about him, but I do know that we need D tackle depth. I do really like Brandon Peely though, so I think Peely's gonna take that 4th tackle spot. Raekwon Davis, Zach Sealer, obviously. Jalen Twyman, I don't see it. Christian Wilkins, my boy better get paid soon. Can we get, just put like a hell yeah in the comments if you can't wait for Christian Wilkins to get paid, because this is just like ridiculous. He hasn't been paid yet. Alec Ingold's going to be the one that makes roster. John Lovett is not. Lester Cotton, he's going to be our starting guard. Just watch, guys, because Liam Eichenberg ain't going to make it. He going to make a roster. He just not going to make starting rotation. Jason Sanders, I wish we brought in some competition for him, but he showed me at least enough at the end of last season to, earn him a shot this year, because I was calling for his head towards the end of last year before that Jets game and the playoff game. Jerome Baker's going to be riding the bench a little bit more this year. Bradley Chubb better show up. Cameron Good. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to roll through these now because Cameron Good, he was a practice squad player last year. I think he ends up the same. David Long Jr. is going to be our starting middle linebacker. $13 million for Wilkins. I mean, I think he's going to get paid. Someone of his caliber, someone, he hasn't made any Pro Bowls, but just statistically wise and per PFF, now given I take PFF with a grain of salt, he's been a top 5 defensive tackle for the last 2-3 years, and everybody else that got paid is getting somewhere around $17 million a year. So I would expect him to get somewhere between $17 and $18 million a year. So that's going to be kind of the little iffy thing there. David Long Jr., starting middle linebacker. Jalen Phillips, starting edge. I know he's an outside linebacker or whatever. He's an edge rusher. Malik Reed, he's behind Duke Riley in my opinion, so he's going to be practice squad or cut. Channing Tyndall is going to get a big opportunity this year. He's going to be a rotational player. Van Ginkel is going to be a rotational player. Blake Ferguson, whatever. Liam Eichenberg is going to be riding the bench. Dan Feeney's going to be competing to start with Mr. Lester Cotton. Robert Hunt, obviously starting right guard. Austin Jackson, unfortunately, is probably going to be our starting right tackle. Robert Jones, our backup tackle and backup guard. Connor Williams, that man's our starting center. Unfortunately, I wish he was our starting guard, but it is what it is. These guys apparently, they want to put a guy at center for, a second year straight. He better, if I see high snaps from him this year, I'm just going to drink myself to death. I don't know. I don't even drink that much. Tua Tagovailoa, our starter. Skylar Thompson, he's going to be the backup. Don't at me. He's better than Mike White. I love Mike White. He's better than Mike White. Devon Achane. I think he's going to overtake Jeff Wilson Jr. for our second running back spot. I think Raheem Mostert obviously going to be starter. Myles Gaskin, he's going to be cut. Savon Ahmed's going to make the team barring any other running back signings. And by barring any other running back signings, I mean, look, we still don't have a pass-catching running back, like a true pass-catching running back. And there's still Kareem Hunt out on there. Dalvin Cook's rumored to be released after June 1st. So could we possibly bring one of those guys in to be our pass-catching running back and, just deepen what we have here? So those are two guys that still could possibly, very much so, be on the Dolphins. And if one of those two or another high-profile pass-catching running back ends up on the Dolphins, Savon Ahmed will not make the roster. But as of right now, he's going to be our RB4. Myles Gaskin's going to be out. He's probably going to be on the practice squad, though. Jeff Wilson, I think he's going to start off as a running back 2, but I think Devon Achane is going to overtake him. He could possibly, once again, with those signings, end up being our RB4. Deshaun Elliott, I hear a lot of people talking crazy, like he's going to overtake Brandon Jones for the strong safety position. And I just want to tell y'all, no. No. Like, look, I love Deshaun Elliott, and he's a dog, and we got him for, like, stupid cheap. But he's going to be in there when Brandon Jones needs a break. He's going to be in there if Brandon Jones isn't cleared by the beginning of the year. He's going to be in there when Vic Fangio runs his 3 safety sets. He's going to be in there on special teams. But let me tell you this, he is not better than Brandon Jones. He's not better at coverage. He's not better at blitzing. He's not better at anything. He's faster. That's about it. He's not a better tackler. Javon Holland, he's going to be an all-pro this year. And at me. Because Javon Hollywood Holland is going to be a all-pro this year. And then we got my dog Brandon Jones coming back from that ACL injury. I know I was one of the ones rooting for Jordan Poyer to be on this team, but, I have faith in Brandon Jones. Jerome McKinley, it's going to be interesting seeing if he makes it on the roster over, because once again, we have a lot of corners and DBs and safeties. So being able to play a hybrid of safety and corner, especially at being, he's going to be our 4th safety, given we were decimated by injuries last year in the secondary. So we know how valuable it is to have someone that can play that sole position and be good at that sole position. But being good at special teams, it's going to be interesting see if he gets 8 gold jacket. That's what I'm telling y'all. Gold jacket for my boy Snowman. It's going to be interesting to see if Jerome McKinley can make it. I think he barely makes it on the roster. I think he beats out his Oregon teammate, because if you guys didn't know, we signed a undrafted free agent safety out of Oregon, so what else is new? Tron Armstead, the man's going to play 15 games this year instead of 13. Mark my words, he's playing more games this year. Jerron Christian, hopefully he takes that right tackle spot from Austin Jackson. I don't think so, though. Kendall Lamb, don't sleep on my dog Kendall Lamb. He only played 2 games with us, but he looked pretty decent. And when I say pretty decent, I mean he was a good backup. Now, it's really hard to find an all-pro or a good starting offensive lineman in this league with how good the edge rushers are. So to find a good backup, he's going to get beat more than not, but to have a good backup is kind of good to have. Keon Smith, I don't know nothing about this dude. He's probably cut. Tanner Connor. Tanner Connor, Elijah Higgins are both wide receivers in college that are turned tight ends in the NFL that the Dolphins are, converting to tight end. And with those two, I think they end up being 3 and 4, or tight ends 3 and 4. I do think that both of them make the roster. I don't doubt that Elijah Higgins makes the roster. He was just picked in the draft. But Tanner Connor, I believe, missed most of last year with a concussion, so that's kind of concerning. A lot of people kind of glanced over, okay, 2 of them missed how many games with 3 concussions or 2 concussions or whatever. This is a deep roster. It really is. This is a deep roster with a lot of talent throughout. Even I gotta say, our offensive line. Meanwhile, our starters aren't, they aren't top caliber starters. There's not much of a drop off between our starters and our backups on the offensive line, besides obviously Tron Armstead. So, but Elijah Higgins, Tanner Connor, those 2 guys, I don't see them making much of an impact this year. I hope I'm wrong about Elijah Higgins. I hope he's able to come in and just produce. Eric Saubert. So it's really weird with him. So he was a pass catching tight end coming out of college, but then he has 300 yards in his career, and he's going into year 6. So, or he's going into year 7. So it's like he doesn't catch the ball in the NFL, but yet coming out of college, he was nothing but a pass catcher and he couldn't block. Now he's a blocker that can't catch. So I hope he's able to kind of return to his roots per se and actually start catching the ball, because he has a huge frame. I mean, the dude's 6'5", 250 with long arms. I mean, I think he can almost touch his knees standing up, kind of thing. Like, that's how long his arms are. Durham Smythe. Okay, I follow him on Instagram, and he posted a picture of him and his girlfriend, and this dude is absolutely jacked. He has like a 12-pack or something. I did not know the dude was like that. And he's a lot taller than I thought too, because he's also 6'6", 240. Like, he's a lot bigger than I gave him credit for before. I'm hoping that he's able to kind of take over what Mike Gesicki's leaving back. I hope someone's able to, like, given it's not a lot of production besides touchdowns that they need to replace, but those touchdowns are very important to have those big bodies that can just climb the ladder and catch anything that's up there. That's important to have, especially in the red zone, in my opinion. That's my opinion on that. Chosen Anderson, he's either going to be wide receiver 5 or cut. Braxton Berrios is going to be wide receiver 3 or 4 between him and Eric Ezukama. River Craycraft's going to be either wide receiver 5 or off the roster. Brandon Sanders is going to be on the practice squad again. Freddie Swain, same thing. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver 2. Cedric Wilson, if he's on this roster, I don't think he's going to be on this roster. I think he gets traded post June 1st. But, you know, if he's on the roster, I'm hoping for a major improvement from what he was. So that's our roster, guys. That's our roster. And so going back to Buddy JR. Okay, he wants James Tunstall. His career highlights.
Research on his NFL possibilities. He is going to end up playing in the league after having transferred over here from Stony Brook via UConn, where he spent his first couple years.
Great blocking up front by Tunstall, opening up that gap and
Oh, I missed that. So, oh, this is him here. This is him.
But he came in and got a big block for them. 57 yards already. Ritter with time to the end zone. Game penalties.
Started off stealing bikes and playing a game at the crib. Like, ask your mama, can I spend the night? Hitting the mall again, match a pair of mics. Getting girls' numbers was the highlight of our life. At school, in the bathroom, going 30 seconds. Sitting next to Robert, trying to copy off his answers. Around report card time, I was finessing. Like Granny, they ain't give them to the students, they gon' mail them.
Alright, so y'all want my truthful opinion on this guy already? So, these are his highlights, right? He needs to work on his handwork. He gets his arms way too outside and kind of grabs on guys and allows people to get inside of him. That's not good. So, he needs... Right here, he's overpowering these guys, so they're not able to do anything. So... You know, he has that power, but you're not going to be able to just out-muscle guys in the NFL. You're able to do that against, you know, guys in college, especially playing at Cincinnati, given one of these highlights was from Notre Dame, so that they have, you know, a good team. But in college, it's a lot easier to just out-muscle guys and not have the technique. Now, I do see how he has pretty decent footwork. Obviously can use a little polishing up, but being able to move side to side and have quick feet, because he was able to kind of just go whoop, 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 side to side really good. But just once again, the hands, that was the first thing I noticed, how he kind of like gets around. He needs to get up inside. And he needs to make sure that that he contains these guys. I watched his game versus Bama in the bowl versus Will Anderson, the 3rd overall pick. Look, like I said, he's definitely got potential. He's definitely got potential. But you know, that was also Will Anderson 2 years ago, who 2 years ago we didn't really know who he was. Like, I mean, given we knew who he was, but he wasn't a first round pick back then. So if Will Anderson, if they were both here and this is great, he needs polishing, the reason he was undrafted. Exactly. But like, so right here in 2020, this is Will Anderson, and Will Anderson just, kept getting better and better and better. And this is our boy, and he kind of just like stayed the same. He didn't really get better, but that's on coaches. I'm gonna put that more on coaches than I am gonna put it on him, because his coaches are the ones that are supposed to point out the problems in your game and polish them up. And Cincinnati, we know, hasn't really had good coaches there for a little while. As well as, like, the Dolphins aren't going to bring in any UDFAs that don't have a good head on their shoulders, aren't willing to work hard. So if this guy wasn't willing to put in the work and he kind of just plateaued for 3 seasons, that's telling me that's more on coaching than it is on the player. And, sometimes coaches fail these players, and that's probably what happened here. So, once again, I've had all the faith in the world in this coaching staff with the offensive line, because while it was really bad last year, the offensive line, we don't give them enough credit for only having 2 starters on that line for the majority of the year. Like, if we're being honest, like, to convert someone from guard to center, and yeah, he had the high snaps over and over and over again, but the fact that he was there and learned the position and did well at the position, and then you had Robert Hunt, who played really well for the majority of, but at the majority of the year, we had a backup right tackle and a backup left guard, and then we had 3 or 4 games that we had a backup left tackle. So in all those, I don't think we give enough credit to the coaching staff. Now, Mike McDaniel did hire a new offensive line coach to take weight off of the shoulders of Frank Smith, our offensive coordinator. He felt that he was leaning too hard on just the offensive line and focusing too much on just the offensive line, that he wasn't able to polish the rest of the offensive staff. So hopefully he doesn't have to work with him too much, but hopefully he keeps his eye on him, because that is his specialty, Frank Smith. That is offensive line. That's why we kind of hired him from the Chargers staff. By the way, that makes 2 Chargers staff pieces that are on the Dolphins. The other one is their former DC that's on our passing game coordinator on defense. And what was the other guy? It was Eric. Oh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Abogel.
So you think you know Wix?
Not me just realizing that the music is still going on in the background. Good thing it's still low though, so like it's kind of like it fills the void. All right, here we go. Hey, hold up, I missed him. So is he the left tackle here? I believe this is him here. Yeah, 69. Okay, cool. Perfect. Hey, TD posted it? That's awesome. Thank you, TD. I really do appreciate that, bro. Really do appreciate that, homie. Welcome in, Jose. Right now, we're watching number 69 right here. This dude looks strong. He definitely needs polishing, but like, look at how he attacks on the run game. Just looks tired there though. There's a couple other ones earlier that was like he was on it. Yeah, like that one right there. See, once again, coaching coming into play. He got that guy out of the way. Now he needs to move upfield. He needs to get to the second level on that particular one. Watching number 69 right here, left tackle. Is this pass protecting? Look at the feet. I like the feet. I like the active hands too. So definitely needs some polishing. Like, once again, you're not going to get a guy in UDFA that's like ready to go unless he has like attitude issues. So, but I like what I'm seeing with these guys. Thank you, JR, for pointing them out to me. When I still have to make these two UDFAs because these are the last two UDFAs that we signed that I haven't actually done a video on. I do have another video dropping at 8 for a UDFA, as well as 4 more tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, these I'm definitely gonna put, you know, the strengths and weaknesses that I see on the film. But yeah, I like it, guys. I like it. So another thing. So now that we got those two film guys out the way, now I do like this guy. By the way, the last one, Mr. Eric I'm gonna butcher his last name. Abogel. Eric Abogel. He has good footwork, active hands, obviously needs polishing. He looks like he could use some good conditioning too. He looks like he gets tired pretty quickly. I think he's spot on. What are you talking about on both players? Thank you, bro. I watch a lot of film, not necessarily on the college guys, but on the Dolphins. Like I'll watch the game live. Then I'll watch the game again through all 22. So I'll watch both the end zone angle and the sideline angle for the game. I'll watch that at least once, and then I'll watch the live replay again. So I watch every game 3 times. So I do like the little specifics of it. Which just kind of brings me to my point of, y'all hate on Noah Igbenogany too much. Now, don't get me wrong. He's never going to live up to his first round selection. I've had this conversation with so many people, and every single one is like, well, we have to judge him on his draft position. That's why we call him a bust. That's why we say Jalen Reagor sucks. And I'm like, okay, well, Jalen Reagor, is he a wide receiver 3? Is he a good wide receiver 3? Can he catch? Does he have hands? Is he getting better each year? Answer is no. So that's the difference between Jalen Reagor and Noah Igbenogany, is that, given it's 2 different positions, but Noah's gotten significantly better each year, and he was also never supposed to be a first round selection. He was supposed to be in like late second round, early third round pick. So I try not to fault a player for where they're drafted at, and I kind of just look at them for the player that they are. And because he was drafted in the first round, people expected him to kind of just come onto the scene and be the next Xavier Howard, the next Jalen Ramsey, and he just didn't become that. And that's not necessarily gonna be like, okay, that's a horrible thing. Now, given he's a bust, there's nothing that's gonna change that. He's never going to live up to his first round selection. But if you watch him play and watch the improvements that he's made each and every year, going into the first year, he he was so scared to cover people his first year that he wouldn't be able to stay with them in and out of their cuts. He would never get his head turned around. He was always hold on and grab on, and he would always get in trouble that way. Going on to his second year, he would be on these guys like glue, but he wouldn't trust his instincts, and he would just still, right at the point where the ball's there, he wouldn't get his head around. He would still hold on a little bit, and that caused him once again to get into some trouble. Now, going on to last year, hey, thank you, bro. Thank you. Easy. Thank you, Easy. But going on to last year, Noah, now he didn't get a lot of opportunities, but QBs throwing his way only had a 77.1 passer rating throwing in his direction last year. He had 23 balls thrown his way. That's also not true, Robert. That's also not true. His second year, he couldn't get his head around and find the ball. This year, given we also saw such a limited sample size, and so if you want to watch preseason, yeah, in preseason he still wasn't getting his head around. So I was like pounding the desk at him. I was like, "Come on, bro, get your head around to the ball." But during the season, you're kind, and I love the positivity, but Iggy's not very good at football, bro. Let me talk. But so in preseason this year, it was more of the same thing of last year, and I was just like pounding my head against the wall. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you showed such improvement from last year to or from your first year to your second year. I need to see something. So I was just like pounding my head against the wall. I'm like, come on, just get your head around. And then he didn't get an opportunity during the season. I gave up on him. And then when he got his opportunity, he showed up and he stayed on these guys like glue. He covered them. And then he got his head around to the ball. He had pass breakups. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is a different Iggy. Like, well, this is a way different Igbo than we've been seeing in his career. Now, given when he was in zone, can Fangio coach some of these bad habits out of him? And if he does... Dude, Noah's ceiling? I can't even explain what his ceiling is. Like... He's so athletic, he's smart, and he's hardworking. He can be as good as anybody in the league if he really like had the bad habits trained out of him, like you're saying. But so in zone coverage last year, he was still slow to react, kind of like his first year when he didn't really trust his instincts. And that's a lot of what Sam Madison talked about last year during a press conference on what Igbo is working on, and it's trusting his instincts. And we saw the game against the Steelers where he had a lot of playing time because Cater was hurt, and I believe Keon Crossan was also hurt. So he had a lot of playing time that game, and he played really well that game. I think he gave up a touchdown. I got to start watching games 3 times. Just kidding. We love you. No, I literally, I'll go back and, like, if I'm like, damn, like, he played bad, and then I go back and I'm like, oh, no, he played good. That's not even talking about Igbo. That's just talking about, in general, me watching 3 games. Like, there's certain players that played bad, certain plays that just broke down, and for what reasons, and I like watching them for 3 times for that reason. Like, I like understanding why, certain things happen. And with Igbo... Him in zone, just he's a little slow to react. He doesn't trust his instincts. He doesn't jump after the route because he's kind of scared of getting burnt. So he'll play a little off, and then he'll allow the catch, and then he'll make the tackle. Like, he's a good tackler too. Like, let's not forget that he's a good tackler. I don't know why he wasn't played on special teams last year, because that was also once again another reason that they said that they're starting Keon Crossan over him. Is because Keon Crossan can play special teams, and I get Keon Crossan is like a special teams ace, but I rather have, so say Keon Crossan is here on special teams and Igbo is here. Well, on the defensive side of the ball, Keon Crossan is like here and Igbo is like here. So yeah, I much rather have Igbo on the field than Keon Cross, and I if Keon Cross never sees the field again, I will not be disappointed. The disdain I have for that man. He's good on special teams, don't get me wrong, but he's not as good as Justin Bethel, and he's not even good as good as Justin Bethel on defense. We saw Justin Bethel go in last year, and he played like maybe 15 snaps, and he was thrown his way like 10 of those 15, and only allowed like 2 catches. And he played both safety and corner. Elijah Campbell, similar situation. So, yeah, the versatility is important to the coaching staff, and maybe that's why Igbo wasn't active, because he's really just a corner. But you can't really just have a corner as your, fourth going into the game. You need to have your corner as like your third going into the game, just to have him not play special teams. And even then, you kind of need to play special teams. But yeah, that my thing with Igbo, it goes along. I can do a whole laundry list of reasons why I like him. Now, I'm not upset that they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, because he's not worth $11 million. So another thing I started looking at him as, I'm not looking at him as a first-round pick. I'm not looking at him as an undrafted free agent. I'm looking at him as a player on the team that's making $2 million. And what do I get for $2 million players? And with Igbo, what I'm getting from him on the field, yeah, that's worth his $2-3 million that he's making. What Keon Cross is making nearly $5 million. What I saw from Keon Crossen last year, that's not worth $5 million. Nick Needham last year was making $6 million. This year he's only making $1 million because of his Achilles injury. So, but yeah, this year outside of our top 2 corners, Keon Crossen is our highest paid corner. That's ridiculous. True Will is making a little over $1 million. Nick Needham's making a little over $1 million. I believe Cater's making $2 million. Once again, Igbo's making like $2.7 million. So these guys aren't making that much money, and I'm looking at him. Thank you, Jose. I'm looking at these guys as what are they? How are they playing compared to what their worth is, what they're being paid? And I'm telling you, like, Igbo has been playing like a $2 to $3 million player, probably more like $5-6 million player when he's on the field, given he's never given the opportunity. And I blame a lot of that, once again, on Boyer. Mike McDaniel, his mistake last year was giving Boyer way too much power. However, that ended up being Boyer's downfall, so maybe it wasn't a bad thing. So maybe it wasn't a bad thing that, that Boyer had all that power. He benched. Now, it could have been probably bad for Igbo's career, but, he controlled that defense so badly last year that he ended up getting canned for, and now we have Vic Fangio. So I like Vic Fangio. He doesn't play favorites. He'll play whoever deserves to be played, regardless of how much they're making, regardless of their status, regardless if they were a Pro Bowler last year or an undrafted free agent rookie. That is what I like about Vic Fangio. And let me talk about Vic Fangio for a sec also. I'm going to pivot. So Vic Fangio, we only got like a few minutes left. But Vic Fangio, a lot of people know that he ran a lot of zone coverages throughout his defensive career, right? And they mix in some man. But if you look at all the corners that we have on this roster, all the DBs that we have on this roster, even the middle linebackers, we're still a man coverage based defense. Now, X and Jalen both are elite at man coverage, both can play zone pretty well. Nick Needham, great at man coverage. Cater Coe, great at man coverage, can play zone a little bit. I think he's probably better at zone than Nick Needham is. Igbo, man coverage. Cam Smith, the guy we just drafted in the 2nd round, man coverage. He's a little bit slow in zone, but he can play zone. Trill Will, man coverage. I hope you're right, but I don't think Igbo makes the team. I think he makes it. I think he's one of the last roster I think he's one of the, like towards the bubble, the bubble of making the roster or not, and I think he makes it. I think the corners that we're keeping are obviously Jalen, X, Cater, Nick, Cam Smith, Igbo, True Will. I think we keep those 7. True Will and Cam Smith can both play safety. That's where I think Elijah Campbell kind of gets the axe. But, you know, with Vic Fangio, he spent a year off, and he keeps talking about, you know, he created a new defensive scheme while he was gone, right? And with all these guys that we have on this roster that are man coverage guys, every single one of the guys, their best aspect of the game is press man coverage. Cam Smith's best, yeah, he can play a little bit of zone, but his best aspect is press man coverage. So that tells me that meanwhile Vic Fangio is known for his zone schemes, that he probably will be running a press man coverage based defense. Fangio is all about film and technique. We're in for a treat next year, especially with our roster on D. Dude, we have such a deep roster on defense. I'm gonna go back. Some of you guys weren't here. So this is our roster right now. So the corners are first. Justin Bethel is elite special teams, can play safety and corner. Tino Ellis is probably practice squad. Xavier Howard literally just made the Pro Bowl, even though he probably shouldn't have, but he made the Pro Bowl. Noah Benogany, once again, I just had a 20-minute long conversation about him. Kader Kohu, really, he was a top 25 corner last year. I think he was ranked 22 overall per PFF. Nick Needham was ranked 16 before he got hurt. Jalen Ramsey was ranked in the top 10. Cam Smith, I'm not sure what his ranking would be compared to others, but I mean, he's a second-round pick. He could have been a first-round pick. True Will, he had an outstanding camp last year before tearing his ACL in the first preseason game, so we'll see what happens there. Elijah Campbell, really good at special teams once again. Can play either safety or corner. So that's where, you know, I haven't counted out 53. I'll probably do that later. But those two are like my fringe roster cut guys because they're good at special teams. I think True Will maybe goes to the practice squad, maybe gets traded. I don't know, but he's going to be one of the last ones on this roster. Same with Igbo. They're the last 2 corners. Keon Cross, and I hope he's cut. But just like going over there, then you have Ogba. This is going to be his last year with the team. Raekwon Davis is an absolute monster. Look at 6'7", 335 pounds. Like, and he was almost irrelevant last year because he barely played. It was all Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins. Given he also missed 3 games, I think it was, with his I think it was a hamstring. No, it was a forearm. I don't know, 2 different parts of the body. I'm not, but he was injured last year and he missed a few. Oh, it's his ankle. Duh. But yeah, so that's kind of what I got for y'all today. So every Wednesday from 7 to 8, we're going to be having our MDS Live, Miami Dolphins Syndicate Live podcast. Now, this was the first one. Unfortunately, Jacob has class. I believe this is his last class, though, on Wednesday. And starting next week, he's going to join me in these. Now, we just had a video drop for another UDFA 1 minute ago. And this one is... Sorry, I have so many. I forgot which one it says to release. Okay, this one is Garrett Nelson. He's an edge rusher. But yeah, go watch that video. And make sure you guys tune in next week. Jacob will be with me, and you can see our lovely banter that we have going on. Thank you guys, every single one of y'all, for stopping in. Really do appreciate it. I can't wait to, keep this podcast live, as well as give you guys daily videos for everything that we got. And yes, Fangio is going to save our Dolphins defense. Best believe that. All right. Deuces, guys. Really do appreciate every single one of y'all once again for showing all the love. Thank you. And deuces.